My gosh, Ball Blazer music is so good. But yeah, if you all didn't know as well, I have been talking about it quite a bit lately. I did put together a small puzzle game, and I will be working on that a little bit more, and it's called Magpie. You're a little bird, you push blocks. Guess what? About it. That's the intrigue that we have here. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, and that's sort of what I've been working on project-wise myself, as well as getting stuff ready for Kusog7ande and doing grudge match stuff, which the show last night, absolute blast. Final Cat and Peace Egg played The Adventures of Rad Gravity, and we also had Osmorn and Seldkuthmine play Within a Deep Forest. Both of those were absolutely a blast to watch. I just love whenever anybody gets to play Rad Gravity. It's it's good. Oh, I think Crappy needs to take us over to the reveal. Crappy, take us away. I said away, not to Mr. Slime Jr. Whatever. Well, everybody, we do have 3 Iron GMs. For this round, the players had 3 choices. And if they chose the same GM, that's who chose a game for them. But if they chose 2 different GMs, then they got stuck with the third that neither of them chose. And thus, that GM could potentially be very angry and give out something very, very bad. Let's see who the GMs are. First, we have Iron GM. Just screenshot this dingus. It is our friend. That's not the correct thingy. Where is the thingy I need to click? Right here. Bam! Tristan. Second, Iron GM Blahe. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, well, he's got one right there. Of course, our friend Donkey Clonk. Everybody, I've got like 5% of a brain right now, but I'm like, wait, that's not a donkey, that's a wolf. And a shark. What does a donkey have to do with this? I'm sorry that it's a little bit cut off there, and that Tristan's lips are apparently slipping through the screen. Whatever. GM number 3, who could it possibly be? We've got Iron GM Jack Sparrow stunt double. I actually have the right person. This is... Who is it? I think this is Time Stalker. I'm gonna be in so much trouble. Somebody's gonna come and bop me. Yes, Iron GM Time Stalker. I can't remember the difference between anybody at this most. Wait. Tempestroll. This is not Tempestroll. You're playing in the last match, I think. Were you playing in the last match? What is going on? Time Stalker. This definitely has to be Time Stalker. Okay. Jack Sparrow stunt double, whatever. Let me go ahead and reveal who the players chose, okay? Because our first player opted to go with Donkey Clonk, and our second decided to go with Iron GM Jack Sparrow stunt double, which means that Tristan is the choice for the Iron GM, and I feel like there is going to be a little vengeance. Hello, Tristan.
What's going on today?
My brain just won't.
Oh, I've had days like that.
Yeah, like, I am trying so hard, and I just cannot today, and I just keep trying. And I'm going to keep trying, and it's gonna be a mess, but whatever. Crappy can go ahead and take us over to the game reveal, because I feel like you chose violence today.
I don't know if it's so much violence.
It is for me.
Fair. It's not a good game, that's for sure. I tend to be a little sparing in when I do repeats, just because I think part of the draw of this is experiencing new stuff. But it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years since we've seen this one. I think that's been long enough.
I think so.
Way back in Season 3 when we were first doing the GM stuff, I kind of established this sort of very binary sort of feast or famine kind of thing, where I would give one match out would be like a really decent but kind of janky game like Gordo 106, and then the next match would just be something completely awful. And I feel like I kind of got my my sort of reputation for being unpredictable from that. And This is probably one of the more awful games I've given out. It is Bubble Trouble.
Yeah, I hate this game a lot, but that's mostly me. I feel like other people can somewhat enjoy it, you know. I hate this game a lot, but I want you to know, and everybody watching here, that honestly, our GMs do put a lot of work into finding games, but at the same time, this is a bad video game tournament. We can have classics, and I would say this was a classic match that absolutely was a lot of fun when it first happened, and I'm just very excited that we get to see people suffer through it again. Whether or not I like this game has no bearing on whether or not we're gonna have it. And, you know, when it comes to bad game tournament, sometimes you just gotta have bad games. Who would have guessed?
I tend to try to do games or matches with rules or whatnot that there is at least some redeeming quality to what we're doing. This is probably the game I have to search the hardest to find a redeeming quality.
Yeah, I would agree.
When I gave this out in Kusog7ande 3, Mike joined me for commentary, and we spent most of the race comparing this to Subterranea, because it's Subterranea but worse.
It is. Although, oh my gosh, there are a lot of Subterranea likes though. What is going on? Brain, can you please do this? Whatever, I'm gonna give up. That's it, no more Kusog7ande today, we're just done. It's bubble trouble. You all know what a trouble is in a bubble. Have you ever met a bubble in real life? I've made bubbles.
I have met a bubble in real life.
Oh, well, good. Oh my gosh, one thing that I really want to do one day, you know those giant bubble balls that people get into and roll down hills?
Yeah.
I want to do one of those one day. I want to roll down a hill and then vomit because I spun a whole bunch. Apparently they are filled with water a lot of the times as well, because if not, then people get really, they probably get very beat up and maybe like heat burns with the plastic. And that part doesn't sound fun, but the rest of it sounds great. And then there's Bubble Boy from Seinfeld. I love Bubble Boy.
Let me ask you this. Have you seen the trend from conventions where someone in suit gets in one of those and then starts floating around on a pool?
Oh yeah, that's always fun. And then it's like,
that freaks me out.
if you get out, if you try to escape, you're in the pool, you're gonna be all wet now. Ha! Which is kind of gross. Oh my gosh, people are saying it's moops. It's moops! Have you seen Seinfeld, Tristan?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know the moops?
Yeah, I think I recall that.
What was that sound? There was a very loud Atari sound.
Oh, it's probably Atari.
Who would have guessed?
Yeah. Have you gotten to the racer icons yet? Those are still...
Crap. Oh. No, I can change them. I can change them, everybody. It's Bracentia's stupid day. We're gonna fix this, okay? Because we got J-Hit on the left. Yeah, with this very angry mustache. And then on the right, Alapex is not this animal. No, that's Tempestrol. That's Tempestrol. Alapex is this animal. There we go.
Why is it back? That's a good question. So before we start, this game does not display the metric that I use for scoring in any way whatsoever. So I wrote a really dirty 7-line Lua script to force it to display on the screen. That's what the 1-0 is. That is the stage number and the number of pickups each racer has in the stage.
I love this single note tune. And I love how this scientist just keeps getting thrown. Is it a scientist? I feel like he's a scientist.
I think so. Like, the story in the lore, in the manual, and like what's explained in the text at the beginning of the game, and then what is shown in the opening cutscene are two completely different things, and I don't know which one is canon.
They're both canon. It's like the merging of parallel universes.
Maybe.
Okay, we're doing the countdown, everybody. Wish the players the best of luck. Get all of your bubble-shaped emotes slash viruses? I don't know what you're collecting. Get...
radioactive deposits. So radioactivity, bubbles, weirdly pulsating flesh walls.
This music is so bad. But yes, spam your emotes, because as soon as I see movement in a stage, I will start a timer. Spam, spam, spam. Bubsy is not a ball. How come it's always Bubsy? Okay,
Bubsy's
everybody.
fine.
Welcome to the hottest action that the Atari Lynx could handle.
Alright,
this game is very Atari, is what I would say. Like, for those who haven't played a whole lot of Atari, expect a lot of beeps, a lot of boops, a lot of for some reason.
Good.
Yeah.
What we're looking at here, like I said, it's like Subterranea, but instead of a ship, you're a dude in a bubble who can shoot bubbles for some reason. The main goal is to navigate this maze of, as I said, weirdly pulsating flesh walls to find what they call radioactive deposits, which are just circles with green lightning bolts in them. And when you get enough, you just warp to the next level. And there's, I think, 5 stages. You start off by needing 4 of these deposits, and then for each stage you need one more.
It appears that J-Hit has collected 1. We've got a 1-1 on the left side. That is the score right there. Level 1, 1 collectible.
Yep. And you know, maybe we didn't need that, but it makes it easier for us, so why the heck not?
So I keep seeing stuff pop up. Use scanner, limited air on, off. And these are all different items, right?
Yeah, so you use option 1. There's Atari Lynx has an A, a B, and then an option 1 and an option 2 button. Use option 1 to select what you're going to do with that menu, and use option 2 to fire it. The only thing they should care about is use scanner. The other options are turning the music on and off, which we can't have, and turning limited air on, which why would you ever do that?
Yeah, that's like... I mean, if you want a super unfair video game, which this is already very unfair, then you can go ahead and do that. But if you want to be able to complete this game, you want air. Limited air is not going to be a good thing. With that said, you know, now that we're like 2 minutes into this, I don't think this is as bad as I was remembering.
Well, we at least didn't have a game over in the first 2 minutes this time. We did when I gave this out in Kusog7ande 3. Because there are no iframes, you take damage for... Oh, no.
Oh, J-Hit.
You take damage for every frame that you're making contact with an enemy. And you get 3 lives, no continues. And when you game over, the game soft locks and you have to reset it.
Also, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think it's not fair to call it a deposit that you collect, because it's not really deposited, it's floating there.
Well, that's what the game calls it.
Well, it's not correct. I'm going to go ahead and criticize Atari for not knowing what a deposit is.
Like, out of all the things wrong with this game, that's the one you lock onto?
You're a guy in a bubble. I got to complain about something.
Oh, J-Hit's about to have a bad day.
The bola... Just, oh geez, you do not want the bola to come and get you. It deals a lot of damage very quick. Then again, everything here deals a lot of damage very quickly. But there are also a lot of pickups, and I think that we're going to have a lot of game overs very quickly. The biggest thing is for the players to explore places they haven't been before, especially in later continues, you know. Once you know how to get one of the uranium deposits, just keep that in the back of your head and focus on getting the others so that you don't just repeat the same section over and over again.
So there's our first game over for J-Hit.
4 minutes, okay.
And yeah, we have to completely reset the console because the Atari Lynx had a reset button on the front face of the handheld. So most games just soft lock and tell you to hit the reset button.
Honestly, I think that's fine.
It is. It's
if you had to get up and hit a button on a console, I might complain. We sort of joke a little bit about like games not going back to the main title screen, but if you're trying to save a little bit of space and there's the button anyway to reset, just use that. Come on.
Yeah, like it's unusual to us now, but it's just how the console was designed. It's fine. We have other things to complain about here.
Yeah, come on. I've played a lot of like Elsa games that there wasn't an option to go back to the menu, and then ads kept playing every like 30 seconds. Holy crap, it's hard to get through some handheld games without like accidentally clicking on 10 ads. It's so hard. Sorry, mobile, whatever, handheld, mobile, I still think they're the same thing.
I was playing with an Amiga game a couple weeks ago because someone posted this photo, like completely out of context. Someone posted this on Twitter and didn't explain what it was. And it was some kind of library that had a bunch of Amiga games on a shelf. And it had a game on a little like CD stand, and there was a sign next to it that said, "Do not press F2." And you know, you have to know what the story behind that is. So I went and found the game and the manual and messed around with it to see, why does this say don't press F2? The reason it said don't press F2 is the Amiga game was bundled as 2 executables with a launcher, and you pressed F1 to play the game and F2 to read the story. And if you selected to read the story, it would display this text crawl of story and then soft lock, and you had to reset the entire computer to actually play the game.
So, oh my gosh, so they included that, but no way to get out of the story?
Yeah, no way to get out. You have to reset.
I love it. Yeah, and for a home computer, you don't want people having to restart their computer.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Alphatex has 2 deposits in the first stage now. That's the lead.
I love that.
This is so much easier with 2 racers. Can we just do all of our stuff with 1v1?
I mean, we used to.
I know.
This is a discussion for another time. And it's nice to be able to pay attention, isn't it?
I mean, we're not, but it's nice to be able to.
It's nice to hypothetically pay attention. No, like, I'm definitely paying some attention, but I'm also looking up some information about the game. Honestly, like, the biggest thing, you'll see the scanner pop up every once in a while, which is basically a really crappy mini-map. It doesn't show any walls, so they just they get an idea where one of the deposits is that they have to get to, and then they just sort of have to figure out how you actually get there.
Yeah, which it's a 3rd deposit for Alphatex.
Very nice. J-Hit did get a game over though, so I'm not too surprised that J-Hit only has 1 at this point. We have a full hour of this, so don't worry. You know, we're probably going to have plenty of back and forth between the players. With that said, there are some cases where damage boosting may be worth it if there is a heal right after. But again, this is the whole process of learning. If players make it to the 2nd stage and die a bunch, then they do have to play the entire game over again. So memory for level 1 is the most important thing that the players need to develop. Whether that means taking notes, or just memorizing the layout of the level as they go through it. Either of those is helpful. The difficult thing, though, is that the entire level basically looks the same. And that's one of the biggest sins, in my opinion, of a lot of collectathons, when it's difficult to tell where you are by just looking at your screen. Like, a lot of other games actually do a pretty good job of making, like, special sprites for special areas. You know, I'm thinking Yoho Yoho is still like the weird bad game that I feel does it very right, because every area of the level like has different animations, different characters, like different buildings, and it's very easy to tell where you are, whereas this is a nightmare. Flannel Cat, I'm glad that you subscribed, and I'm glad that you think this is the perfect game. It certainly is a bubble game.
Yeah, Flannel Cat was in the inaugural race the first time this was in Kusog7ande, if I recall.
Uh-oh.
It was a heck of a race. It was, like I said, way back in Season 3. But yeah, the main issue with this game, since the Atari Lynx had a battery life of no, approximately, a lot of games are exceedingly difficult and don't offer any kind of continue functionality, so you game over, you have to start all over again. The levels are extremely mazy and look the same, and you have no viewing range. You can see like one body length in each direction. So what we're gonna see is as the racers start to get a little bit into the game, maybe get to level 2 and then game over, we're going to see a lot of benefit in actually starting over and remembering level 1. And whether that's through memorization or some kind of really crudely drawn map.
Honestly, like, I think that a lot of people going into matches neglect taking notes, but it's something that actually was very helpful for older games. For the Lynx, I don't think a lot of people would have expected that to be something that helped, but it certainly doesn't hurt. And a lot of manuals did have places for notes so that you would be able to have notes directly linked to the video game rather than just have a random notepad somewhere.
Yeah. I don't recall if I ever used those for anything but passwords.
So I actually would love to hear some more about this game, because there is lore, but there are 2 versions of lore from what I understand.
Yeah.
What are the versions of lore that we have here?
So the story as it's told in the textual resources, like the manual and the help screen at the start of the game, claim that you are some professor of something trying to figure out how to unlock the secrets of faster than light travel.
Oh,
or
yeah,
interdimensional travel.
You are
and
the research
experimental
scientist, Travis.
In an experimental accident, you end up zorted off into some alien world or something, and you have to collect the radioactive deposits to power your craft to get back. If you watch the opening cutscene, you are some dude standing in your bathroom wearing a shower cap, and your bathtub drain backs up, and while trying to unclog it, you get sucked down the drain and the game starts.
Yeah, those are like... They're not even closely related. They're like super, super different. Like, yeah, this one, the manual specifically says you're working at a high-energy institute experimenting with dense matter and the theoretical creation of black holes for interstellar travel. And then you arrive in a huge world built of bubbles, and you're rescued by a friendly denizen of this bubble world that's just some weird air bubble floating around that's like, hey, I'm gonna help you because I'm a bubble.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I think I prefer not... No, I love ridiculous lore. And I also love no lore. Like, just anything regarding lore, the lack thereof, having too much of it, just don't make it, like, boring. Okay? Sure, bathtub ate you? I like that. Sure, you were researching black holes? I love that. Sure, having both of them and not having any way to reconcile the differences between the stories, that's even better. Just give it to me.
It's definitely befitting of this game.
Yeah.
So J-Hit is down to 1 life. Alopex is taking a game over. 3 deposits in the first level is currently where the high water mark is.
Yeah.
J-Hit has that right now, so if he can pick up a 4th one, he'll have a pretty comfy lead.
Yeah, both of the players are doing pretty well. 14 minutes in, I don't expect people to get much... I'd say further than level 3, where we might see level 3, but level 2 is really, really difficult.
Yeah, when we had this before, all 4 racers struggled quite a bit in the first, like, 30 minutes, and then suddenly it clicked for them. And we ended up with a last-minute lead change, grabbing, I think, like, the 2nd deposit on stage 3. Is where everyone got last time.
Okay. So, yeah, I believe so. But I'm really glad that you did put this score tracking system together using a script. Luckily, like, some of the emulators do make it relatively easy. As long as you can see memory addresses and know which memory address does what, you're able to put together a script that can draw the information that you see on the screen here. So, like, you have to do a little bit of research, but emulators have become so cool that they allow you to do this.
Yeah, the hardest part of this was figuring out what memory addresses to scrape, and apparently what to name my variables. That was apparently very important.
Delwolf? Delwolf, I gotta say, you're silly. There were arguments about, oh my gosh, you didn't clarify what the variable is, and it's like, this is like 5 lines of a Lua script. I think it's fine. Or is it? Or is it? Maybe it's not fine, Tristan.
Apparently it's not.
Wolf is saying in chat, I don't like raw hex, okay?
I'm dealing with memory addresses. What the heck do you want me to do? There goes J-Hit. Oh no. So I believe Alapex had reached 3 deposits slightly before J-Hit did, and then J-Hit was not able to pull into the lead.
Yeah. With that said, it's not really a huge deal because of how many game overs we're going to see. Like, players are going to be going through level 1 quite a few times. So, game over, didn't take the lead, big deal. Do better this next time, and you might be able to take it away. A big thing as well, I think, is that while you may be tempted to go fast in this game and just go through enemies, the pro strat is don't do that.
Yeah, absolutely not. For the most part, you should be looking at this as a marathon and not a sprint because of just how much damage you will take trying to do anything clever.
Yeah, important to note, there's no timer on the screen, so really, like, going a little bit slow is fine. And if I'm not mistaken, once you kill an enemy, they don't respawn, right? I think.
No, they do not respawn.
Yeah,
and if you wanted a time limit, you could turn on limited air, but again, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's dumb. Don't do that. I do have to ask, like, if the enemies don't respawn, do they respawn when you die?
I believe they do.
Okay. So yeah, that especially makes it important to, like, be more careful. Don't rush. And just make sure that you are making more progress each time. Again, this is something that, like, as you play in tournaments, you'll start to know when it's important to rush and when it's important to go slow. And this is one of the go slow games.
It's also worthy of note that your bubble is not exactly responsive when it comes to changing directions, changing speed, and it's really hard to explain. If you hit a wall, you bounce off of it. That much is apparent just from watching someone play the game. What's not very apparent is when you hit a wall and bounce off of it, you seem to accelerate.
Yeah, it's like extra pinball-y. Which I love games that are, like, more unwieldy than controllable, especially when they give you quote-unquote decent amount of health, which this game does. Considering how bland the visuals are, I prefer, like, I'm fine with the gameplay being absolute chaos bouncing off of walls.
You can see J-Hit bouncing around in this corridor for a moment. And yeah, just every time there's a bounce, J-Hit's sped up a little tiny bit, and you have to get a lock on which way you're going in this little tiny hallway and counter steer. Otherwise, you will bounce forever.
Chat, you are so silly. I'm gonna go ahead and say that if you are making a script that like you and maybe one or two other people will use, and they're not even gonna look inside the script, you can go ahead and write it however you want.
Gosh,
So,
when I was in high school, we had a project, and I'm in a religious high school, and we had a project to write a Bible-themed game. And most people designed board games and stuff, but there were a couple of us nerds who did computer-based stuff.
yeah.
And one of my classmates made a Warcraft 3 campaign based on whatever the assignment was. I don't even remember at this point. But if you encounter a scripting error in Warcraft 3, it prints out like the block of code that caused it.
Okay.
And this guy hit a glitch while showcasing their project, and just to reveal that like all of the variable names were obscenities.
Oh my gosh, like that they used obscenities inside their code. That is beautiful.
Yeah, like one of the variable names was like the pointer to a character named this Hecker, but it wasn't Hecker.
I have to ask, what did the teacher say about that?
The teacher saw it. My classmate just hit like Alt F4 to hide it all as best he could. He saw it. He kind of just sat there with like the literal thinking emoji for a minute and then went, I didn't see that.
Oh, I love it. But research has shown that the more, like, if you use swears in your code, it's usually a little bit better because I don't remember the reason. I think it's more a correlation. It's just a lot of like really decent code actually has swears in it.
Yeah, I think it's that's a statistical error because the Linux kernel, which has approximately 14 swears per line of code, should not have been counted.
Oh, so it's like Spider's George is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I think it was someone was like trying to say, oh, the reasoning is that like they care more about what they're doing. I more just think that I don't know, it could be pure coincidence, but go ahead and swear in your code, it's fine. Nobody's gonna see it except for the teacher in your class when the error code pops up.
I am of the opinion that if you're writing code, you should assume that it's going to show up in a deposition somewhere. Alright, so Alapex takes the lead by getting to stage 2.
Oh my gosh, Alapex, we're in blue.
Yeah.
That's my favorite
So I didn't
bubble.
really need to put the stage number in the Lewis script because it's obvious, but also why not? It's right there.
Yeah, if you know the hex code, and Wolf's not going to yell at you about it, then go ahead.
I was actually going to go completely ham and put like the numeric hit point value on the screen and all this other stuff, and I'm just like, you know what? No, this is this is one of those holes you fall into when you come out with an entire project on your head. Don't do it.
Look, do that for an April Fool's thing where you just have like all of these variables covering the screen and they just have to play with it. That would be fun.
So Alapex is down to his last life and has about a quarter of his health left. So we may not be... Oh. We're not seeing Blue very much.
Goodbye, Blue. I just love his weird crawling animation when he dies.
He's falling, I think.
Are you sure? It looks like he's crawling. By the way,
well,
Justin
I mean,
brought
what is
me
falling
some
if
pizza,
not crawling downward extremely quickly?
I suppose.
So, Alapex managed to pick up one deposit in stage 2, which is pretty solid.
Tristan, I have an important question. What Bible game did you make?
I at the time was learning C, so I just wrote a really crappy, like, it displayed a 2D grid of like tiles and then asked the player to designate a location, and that would ask like a Bible-themed question. If you got it right, you ticked off the box and you played Connect 4 with a very rudimentary AI.
Okay. Not the worst Bible game I've heard of, and for a high schooler, I'd say that's pretty sufficient.
Yeah, that's largely how I learned basic rudimentary C, and then learned I really hate C.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if, like, because I've done Java the Hutt script. I'm trying to think if I've done any Java. I've done JavaScript. I've done again Lua and Python script. I've done some C#. This sounds like I'm confessing to a bunch of things, Tristan. And like, I think everything that I've used so far, I've been completely. I don't think I prefer one over the other. It's like, as long as I know the rules that I'm dealing with, then I'll go ahead and stick to the rules. But that's just me. I need to get something that, like, I truly hate. Can somebody give me something to hate?
Malboge.
I don't know what that is.
That is a language designed to be as obtuse and unusable as possible on purpose.
Okay, give me something. Well, I don't want to use that then.
You said give you something you hate. You'll hate that.
Actually, I kind of would like to take a look at that now that you bring it up.
So the main thing about Malbolge is, outside of the extremely basic operators, most of what you do with data is through an operator that changes what it does depending on the general state of RAM. So to do what you want, you basically have to do memory manipulation.
Oh my god.
JHit has moved on to stage 2.
Can JHit get some of the radioactive material? Because if so, JHit will move into the lead.
Hey, JHit needs to pick up 2 to take the lead.
Oh! Yeah, people are saying Java can be fine, but frustrating. C is amazing if you enjoy creating new security vulnerabilities that get discovered 10 years later.
So the main thing about C is you have to manage memory allocations by hand. There's one deposit for JHit. And having to manage memory allocation by hand is a really good way to just open up an entire box of security vulnerabilities.
Well, here's the deal. If I do anything in C, I won't do anything that involves networking first. So that'll be the first thing to protect people.
Oh, JHit is so close to death and is like very close to a second deposit.
Oh my gosh, get the deposit. This music is weird. Yeah, some people are saying C# is their favorite compromise in terms of design. I really like C#. Like, it's one of the easiest things for me to understand.
I'm obligated to learn Rust at some point. There we go. JHit takes the lead.
But I'm also somebody who, like, doesn't mind having, like, multiple web pages open in order to search and be like, okay, I'm not getting this for some reason, let's go ahead and figure it out. But I feel like I'm still fairly a newbie when it comes to code. Even, you know, but I just love to learn, and I love to, like, it's what I do. That's why I went to college for so long. I just love to learn. I don't like to use what I've learned, but I like to learn it. No, I like to use what I learned. That's why I've been doing that. That's why I've, like, little by little, I do little projects on my own because I just want to I've been wanting to learn how to make a game, and I finally made something, and it works pretty well, and it's something that I can finally say, like, I learned all of the individual parts for how to do something and put them together, and it's pretty okay. Like, I'm not too ashamed of myself.
J-Hit just popped open the radar to try to figure out where the remaining 2 deposits are, and they're nowhere in scanner range.
Yeah! Welcome to life.
Oh. What? What?
See, I swear he's just super crawling across the screen. I really like your laugh.
J-Hit died on the same frame as picking up health, so he game overed with like an entire full bar of health.
That's so good. But yeah, J-Hit at this point is in the lead with 3 deposits collected on Section 2. That is always exciting to me when we see lead changes throughout the match, and, you know, we're probably going to see some more because this game is actually kind of hard.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to see, now that both racers have reached stage 2, we're probably going to move into the phase of things where they start resetting for dying in stage 1, because you got to get into stage 2 with as much in the way of health and lives as you can.
Yeah, I think Alapex is being a little bit greedy here. Alapex is going to get a game over before too long. Honestly, it would probably be better to get a game over now than to keep going with a single life. Yeah, the whole thing, when you're playing in a tournament like this, you got to think both of the game, how do I play this part well as the metagame. Is it worth continuing and just getting to where I was before and making literally no progress because I don't have any lives left?
The name of this game especially is incredibly slow, methodical progress, because you have so little view distance, you can't see what's coming.
And yet in a race setting, like, you just have that inner urge to go fast. And
yeah, that will destroy you here.
Yeah, bops you. It's like, no, stop it. Stop it. Yeah, I want to keep learning more about programming, though. It's fun to me. I mean, we're watching a game about a nerd who programmed something and went into a bubble. I don't like, and supposedly the bubble in some of the stories is a living being, which is kind of terrifying. This is doing
bubble sort incredibly wrong.
Oh my gosh. Maybe this is how bubble sort works, you know?
It might be.
It's just a little man inside a bubble sorting for you. Yeah, inside every computer is a little man in a bubble. Yeah, Flannel Cat actually brings up a very important point. This is either a nerd who programmed something or somebody who just had a very bad clog in their bathtub, and it's hard to really know which one it is.
I mean, is there really any bigger crime than just using your bathroom?
I mean, depends on who you ask. Oh, Tristan, you just reminded me. You talked about religious school. I can go ahead and bring up time when I was very religious and a missionary. Just so people know, if you're watching, I am not religious anymore, and I'm definitely not Mormon anymore. But yeah, I was a Mormon missionary back in the day. And let me tell you, walking around the streets of Brazil, every once in a while, holy crap, something just hit you wrong. And I feel really bad, but, you know, if you're nowhere near home, sometimes you just had to find a bathroom, and the best bet was to just, like, try to knock at a few doors and hope that somebody will have mercy on you. That somebody will have pity and let you go and use their bathroom. And it's like, I apologize for what's going to be happening here, but there's really nothing that I can do about this. I am in physical pain, and I have to use a restroom. And oh my gosh, I was thinking about this the other day, and then whenever that happened, we always took the opportunity to be like, I know I just destroyed your bathroom, but do you want to hear about Jesus? And it's like, it's fine if you don't, okay? Like, I fully understand. Because what is in there could not be holy. No, that is an inner demon that was in me, okay? So it's fine if you say no, but I'm going to ask you anyway. I can assure you, I don't believe I converted anybody because I had to use their bathroom.
It depends on what you might have converted them to.
Probably to, like, never let them in my house again.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the real question. In your copious experience with seeing other people's bathrooms, did you ever see one with, like, fleshy, pulsating walls like this?
Honestly, I feel like I might have. Bathrooms are a little bit different in Brazil. Some of them are made of flesh. No, that's not true. I've seen some that have been a little horrifying, but honestly, nothing like this.
Nothing like this, huh? I mean, if I had this down my drain, I'd probably move.
I mean, I have seen Ghostbusters too. This is essentially what happens, I think. Oh my gosh.
I played Ghostbusters too.
Have you not seen the movie?
If I did, I was extremely small.
Let me just say, I think that gave me nightmares about bathrooms because of her taking a bath and then the goo coming out. Yeah. I don't want to spoil too much for people who haven't seen it. It's an old movie. I'll spoil a little bit. Yeah, it gave me some nightmares about bathrooms.
Alapex is back on stage 2, so we'll see if he
and
can
with 2
improve
lives,
on.
There's a possibility, yeah.
Though immediately getting generated for half your health is not a wonderful start. This game will just tear you in half if you're not super careful at all times.
Yeah, it's like, the developers had an idea, like, I do think that this is pretty ambitious for a handheld game with how fast you're moving. Honestly, probably would have been better to give more screen space. You know, we don't have to see a very detailed sprite of Dr. Man. I don't really care for him.
He could have been smaller, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. But at the same time, like, this is a very fast-moving game for a handheld system. And, like, with how much is happening, with how many deadly things can pop up, I honestly think that, like, I can't knock the developers at all for what they did here. It could have been better, but so could basically every game. I don't know. Tristan, is there, like, a perfect game in your mind? Or, like, a game that's as close to perfect as possible?
I was thinking about something similar to that the other day, about how, as of late, I've been gravitating toward indie games where some developer went, there's this genre of game, and I really like 1 or 2 mechanics inherent in it, so I'm gonna make a game that just goes completely and totally gremlin mode into those mechanics and nothing else.
Okay.
Like, Ciralim is a series of games that is just like a monster raising game, and
oh, I
the
love
Ciralim
that.
games
I love
go in
Ciralim.
they go in so hard on just like we're going to enable building and experimenting with team comps and just get everything else out of the way.
Yeah, everybody, if you have not heard of Siralim Ultimate, and you like anything slightly like Pokemon, it's basically Pokemon, except if everything was absolute chaos, and you wanted a monster that for some reason would kill everything on the enemy's team and your team, and then bring everybody back to life on both teams, and then somehow only kill the enemies. I don't, like, there's some absolute bonkers builds that you can do in that game, and it is just very... And you have to do them. You have to do the absolutely nuttiest builds in order to get through some of the areas. Like, it's so cool, Tristan.
Yeah, and that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, is Siralim is so cool because it takes a mechanic that the developer presumably liked in other games and just said, I'm going to ignore everything else and enable this one thing. And it does it pretty well. Meanwhile, Alopex has reached 3 pickups on stage 2, which is what the high watermark was. If he can get one more, he will have extended the lead a little bit. J-Hit's right behind with 2 pickups, but is very close to game over.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend everybody, if you get the chance to play Siralim, do it. Because here's the deal. There are so many builds that absolutely break the game, and yet they're required. Because the enemies also have builds that absolutely break the game. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and then you have RPG-style fights, and then everything breaks the game. You break the game, enemies break the game, everybody breaks the game, and somebody has to win, even though you both have extremely broken builds.
I ended up filing a bug against Siralim Ultimate before it hit 1.0 and released that I was able to build a team comp that would flood the action queue with so much stuff that it would chug the game down to less than a frame a second.
Yeah, I could see that.
Alopex has 4 pickups now, 4 deposits in stage 2, so that is definitely the lead.
Very nice. We have a lead change this far in. Now, Tristan, I apologize. I'm going to have to stand up for a second, but I will be back in just a couple minutes, maybe even a minute. So, good luck. Enjoy this music.
See, what I don't have to tell Bro Sentia is, I mute the capture feed, so I don't ever have to deal with the music in the games I give out. So the goal here in stage 2 is to pick up 5 deposits. So we might actually get to see stage 3 here if Alopex is able to go find the final deposit without dying. That's the hard part. We are at, what is it, 17.5 minutes left. So both racers definitely have a chance to get here again if they game over. It's not over by any stretch of the imagination. You could probably get through the first 2 stages in about 5 minutes if you knew exactly where to go, and we're willing to be a little bit reckless. So I wouldn't call this over until the very end. Yeah, it's my stream now. I think that would just be the just result, considering how many times Bercentius tried to fire me. You know, having 2 streams wouldn't work out well for me anyway. I haven't even been streaming on my own channel. J-Hit ties it up by picking up the 4th deposit. If we do end here, of course, Alopex would take the victory for getting here first, but having both racers at the same checkpoint, very exciting. I'm very excited, you can tell from my voice. J-Hit is one good plonk from an enemy, though, from game over. The school of fish that we saw on J-Hit's screen for a moment blends into the background extremely well. It looks like a background element, and then it starts killing you. Hey, Alapex makes it to stage 3. So stage 3 introduces walls that shoot you. As if this game wasn't crusty enough. Here they are.
Oh, it's green.
Yeah, it's a green, yellow, gross, pulsating mass kind of thing.
Yeah, this is like... I'd say body horror, except it's not body, it's bubble horror.
I mean, it's bubble horror. It's trypophobia horror.
A little bit, yeah. I don't love it, but whatever. No, I kind of like it. I dig it. It's gross, but not too gross, you know?
At least it's not regular, like, circles. Then it would be a big problem.
Regular circles? Ew, just circles. Ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like, evenly spaced out and same size.
Oh, then it would look like polka dot.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, you could go to the polka. And then you could dance. It's great. It's a good deal. Sorry, I was just thinking of Cyrilem a little bit more as well. Because there was one build that I had that was essentially, my whole goal was to keep killing all of the creatures on my team. Because every time I killed them, I would, I had multiple creatures that would gain more stats based off of something on my side that died. And so I would kill them, and then I also had an ability that made it so that every time, like, I hit a monster, there was, like, a % possibility of bringing a creature back to life. So I just keep killing my own creatures, bringing them back to life, just gaining more and more stats until I was like, okay, I've killed my dudes enough that I think I can kill the enemy, and then bam.
The Alapex game overed at 1 deposit in stage 3. I think our racers have 1, maybe 2 more good attempts in them.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of time left. It's gonna be rough, but possibly doable. With that said, I do think that getting to the 3rd stage is a very good job. J-Hip might not be able to do it by the end of time. By the end of time? Yeah, welcome to...
By the end of time, yeah. Getting to stage 3 is where our racers got in the first iteration of having this in Kusog7ande. I think 2 of the racers got to stage 3. So we're pretty much on par for how this performed last time around.
Okay. Well, that's not too shabby then.
It is not an easy game.
Oh, not at all.
It only gets worse from here, too.
How many
since I
levels
was
are
fooling
there?
around with memory addresses, I was able to cheat myself into stages 4 and 5, and there's something else.
By the way, from what I see, there was basically one person who got credited for this, Andrew Harris. So this may have been a one-person game. And this was his first game as well. So this is a really good first game.
Depending on who you ask, it's argued that this wasn't even released. It was put into the state where it was like pressed and everything, and then they didn't release the didn't actually release it. I don't know if that's true or not. It's just something I heard when researching this.
I'd have no clue. But with that said, you know, anytime there's a game that's made by like one person, I have nothing but love for it. And honestly, for something that looks this decent, if you, I know from experience, working on my first little game here, and I'm still basically in like the very early stages where I got 20 levels put together for a puzzle game. Basically, the whole goal is make it good enough. That's all you need to do for your first thing. Make it good enough. What you want to do is finish a project. And he finished it. I like the animations of the walls. I love all the animations for the graphics. This is not a perfect game.
I love how J-Hit was very cautiously moving through one of the lightning hallways and got through without taking damage, was on a sliver of health, got through the hallway, and then died to a drop from the ceiling, popping his bubble.
Yeah.
Just this painstaking navigation through the hallway just to get clonked at the very end.
I love it. People are pointing out that there were a lot of games, a lot of the quote-unquote big games from back in the day are essentially like what people would make in a game jam now. But here's the deal, we have tools, and I don't imagine the Atari Lynx had too many helpful tools for developers outside of Atari. That's sort of how I feel. Maybe even within Atari, they might not have had the best support. I mean, there's a big reason the Atari Lynx failed. It didn't have very many games come out for it. Like,
it had 72, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and the developer, or the company that made this, Lore Design Limited, the game that they made before this was Kung Food. Then they made, after this, they made Highlander for the Jaguar, and then Fat Bobby for the Lynx, which we've had on Kusog7ande as well. 3 out of 4 of their games for the were for the Lynx, and we've had on Kusog7ande. Fat Bobby, we actually had to tube and bin because somebody accidentally enabled cheat mode, and we couldn't figure out how to turn it off.
I thought that was pretty amazing.
Oh my gosh. Somebody is saying their mom's friend had a Lynx and the battery pack caught on fire. Well! Okay. Yeah, it takes a lot of time to learn old systems as well. Wolf is pointing out, like, old audio systems. If you learned how to make music with them, you could make some really amazing stuff. And if anybody else tried to make that, it takes months in order to get your head wrapped around them. I mean, I've been using Commodore 64 stuff lately, and yeah, it's you can make some really crappy sounds very easily, but making anything that doesn't hurt people's ears, that's hard.
That's how the Genesis went.
Yep.
You had a sound driver that worked, and a tool set that worked, but it produced parts. And then you had the people who actually knew what they were doing, who produced some amazing stuff, like the Phantasy Star 4 soundtrack, and similar.
That's the thing. Everybody, artists are worth it. You know what? There's some who might be a little more expensive, but you know why? They know what they're freaking doing.
That reminds me, I need to go see if I can get ChatGPT to generate a tracker file and see what it does. Oh, it sounds like it would be awful.
Oh, no. I would be a little interested to see what the results are. You'll have to tell us.
Yeah, like, I am extremely over in the bin of this is both terrible and should not be as big of a deal as people make it out to be. But I think as far as like the most succinct point of, no, you really still need to pay artists and developers and stuff, just having one of those AIs go, here is a learn set based on tracker files, generate a new one, and then it come out sounding like a cat being tortured.
That'd be pretty good. Yeah, you know what? There's been a lot of controversy about AI and stuff that's been happening right now, and I fully understand, like, the people who are worried about plagiarism. 100% agree that that is an issue that should have been foreseeable, but, well, oops. Didn't happen. They didn't manage to get around that, and so, you know, we're having to deal with some of the repercussions there. But at the same time, I also think that a lot of, like, AI has been used for a lot of stuff, and people are only really discovering now because it is so easily acceptable compared to before. Like, simply put, writing. A lot of articles out there on the net for years have been put out by bots basically generating stuff, and you can only really tell now because you have seen how AI tends to learn how to write, and it's been fascinating, and I really love seeing people being like, oh my gosh, I hate all these articles I'm seeing where AI has just written them out. I'm like, that's how it's been for years. That's how it's been for years, but now you can tell because you're gaining sort of the literacy to understand the difference between humans and robots writing something, and it's so, like, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Tristan, that I love that this is widely accessible these days, so that people do get the experience. The same thing happened with Photoshop. You know, there were people who saw a Photoshop picture of George Bush floating in a boat during Hurricane Katrina and thought that it was real. It's very obviously Photoshop to anybody who has used the internet in the last 10 years, but back then people believed it. And it's just like the literacy of knowing what is real and fake. It's really hard to like absolutely describe everything, but the more that you see it, the more you can pick it out. So yeah, there you go. Have a robot make us some music. I would love to hear what we get.
It would probably be pretty bad. So J-Hit has 4 minutes to get to 3-2 to take the lead. Otherwise, Alopex is going to take it. Oh.
Like, J-Hit has 2 lives and has 3 deposits. Like, it's not impossible.
It's not.
It's gonna be hard.
5 to finish this stage, and then we'll need 2 on the next one. And time is very rapidly ticking down.
It's ticking down at the same rate as it always does.
Which is very rapidly when you're
Apparently.
behind. And
when you're in a race, you don't like those timers. Woo. I like Stage 2's music. I don't understand it, but I love it.
Stage 2's music set out to do something, and I'm not entirely sure it accomplished it.
Come on, it's one person who worked on this. They did what they could.
Yeah.
Beep, 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 beep.
It's going to be pretty close, I think. We've got 2.5 minutes left. I think J-Hit understands the urgency on some level because he's flooring it as he moves through here. So is Alopex, for that matter. Alright, so Alopex moves on to stage 3 again. There is an opportunity here to widen that lead.
Yeah.
Of course, the racers got the 5-minute warning a couple of minutes ago, so they know time is running out.
Yeah, they're definitely a little bit more stressed out about it, but that is fine. My gosh, this music.
I also just realized here at minute 58 you used the wrong person for audio, but it turned out fine.
I did?
Yeah.
Tristan, my brain is not here.
I know days like that. That was my entire past week.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and oh my gosh, J-Hit is on to the next level.
Yes, he is.
Okay, you said J-Hit would have to collect 2, right?
Yeah, so Alopex game over it at 3-1. So to take the lead, J-Hit's gonna need 2.
Just gotta get it. Just two of them.
Don't know if this is gonna happen. Oh no.
I mean, if there is a last-minute
There's
comeback,
one.
this is the game that it's gonna happen on. One collectible is all you need, J-Hit. That's all you need.
40 seconds to find another deposit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my. It's so rough because you don't know how far away another deposit is. I guess you do if you look at the radar, but you don't know.
No!
Oh, J-Hit takes the lead.
J-Hit moved into the lead with 20 seconds left.
And Alapix game over.
Game over. That is... Holy crap!
Wow.
I'm absolutely shocked. This was an amazing comeback from J-Hit, and we have time. Oh my gosh. Okay, I gotta breathe. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we need other music. This music is way too chill. No, we need exciting music. Stop it, Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud? Too calm. How about Bubble Bobble? That sounds good. Bubble Bobble, you want to play? Yeah! Well, there we go. Honestly, both of the players put in a fantastic effort here. Alapix getting into the lead. We had a few lead changes, but Alapix, we thought, had this match. J-Hit, in the last 20 seconds, managed to pass Alapix, taking the victory today in Kusog7ande. This is what I love to see when it comes to brackets, because you never know what's going to happen. But let's go ahead and invite them to come and chat. Yeah, Tristan, I feel like this was such a fun watch. What do you think?
I mean, this is the second time I've had this game in Kusog7ande, and it's the second time that the lead changed in the final 30 seconds. So
yeah,
that's always exciting.
We've had slightly closer matches, but it honestly is very rare that we have anything in the last 30 seconds. Oh my gosh, Alapix, we were ready to pack up the books. Oh wait, J-Hit's coming in as well. Hello there, J-Hit. Hello, Alapix. Yeah, we were like about 3 minutes left. Tristan was like, I don't think there's anything's gonna happen. I'm like, you're probably right, but there could be. And then J-Hit just made it to level 3, and bam, gathered those 2 deposits. 20 seconds left. You changed. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm just, woo! That was a lot of fun. And then Quick Man hits me.
Well, at least you put on a good show then.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a really good show. Like, I forgot a lot about this game. Honestly, I've ragged on it a lot and been like, I hate this game. It's just hard to watch. But I feel like I've grown over the last 4 years to where I actually kind of enjoy this game now.
Oh, believe me, it is hard to watch even when you're playing it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, talk to me about the experience here. Alapix, it's hard to watch the game. Like, what is the roughest part of this?
Oh, you just have no control over that bubble unless you're going diagonals.
Unless you're going diagonal?
Yeah, because you bounce out the walls a lot, and when you're bouncing, it didn't seem like the left and right would do a whole lot, especially when you're in a tight corridor, and only the diagonals would work.
Yeah, I know that both of you were using quite a few of the diagonals, and sometimes bouncing down the corridors in a diagonal fashion. It gives you a little more time to react what's down the corridor, because honestly, you don't have a lot of screen space. It can be very difficult to see. J-Hit, was there a way that you managed to adjust to some of the difficulties, or like what was really frustrating to you when you first started?
Pretty much just the controls. Like, it's like Alapix was saying, like, diagonal is fine, pretty good, pretty fine. If you could line up in a corridor so you bounced nicely, it was okay. You could do that to slowly approach the next area. But if you hit just right and you were bouncing out of control, there was nothing. There was nothing you could do. You just had to ride it out.
You're just done. I love that. Maybe maybe you didn't love it, but I loved it. Yeah, the bounces in this game just make it absolutely unruly. I kind of prefer having a game that's very difficult to control, though, personally. Like, I love chaos. And this game is chaos.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
I also don't like the other thing that I really didn't like is that your direction that you shoot is based purely on the last direction that you pressed.
Yep.
Oh
And
yeah,
that-
this is definitely a twin stick shooter with only one stick.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think that I could see that myself. Oh my gosh, I know of a few other games like that, twin-stick shooters that only have one stick, and unfortunately you generally have to be moving in the correct direction of, in order to shoot, and if you're not moving in the right direction there... Wait, what am I trying to say? No, you have to move in the direction that you shoot. So if you want to move away from an enemy while shooting at them, it's just not doable. Was that true with this as well, that you just
Yep.
can't?
It's 100% true with this.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. I don't really love that. That's pretty terrifying.
That and absolutely no invincibility frames on getting hit, so if an enemy got inside you, it could just drain you if you didn't have any... Because you get 3 shots, and if they're on screen, you can't shoot anymore. So if an enemy's in you and your 3 shots are on screen, you're just dead.
That's pretty... Yeah, that's rough. So how did you deal with, like... Because you basically don't have iframes in this, you just keep taking damage if you're in collisions. Like, what was the best way to approach levels, did you feel?
Just really go slow, and if an enemy's... Kind of try to save your shots, I guess, was the best way that I found, is that if you're going into like a new corridor, try to save the shots in case the enemy just rushes you, and you can at least get it off of you if it's in you.
Okay. That's fair. I was thinking maybe it's good to go a little bit slower, be a little bit more deliberate about all of the areas that you're going into. But unfortunately, it's a little counterintuitive because in a race setting, oftentimes you just want to go as quickly as possible. You're like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this.
Yeah, that's what I was trying in some of the corridors, especially if I knew there was, like, shield ups afterwards. Because I'd just try to blow through it as fast as I could.
Yeah. With that said, honestly, you do not feel bad about taking the loss today, Alapex. It was so freaking close. And honestly, this is exactly how I love to see matches go. It's just very exciting when somebody is able to take that last-minute victory there. So... Yeah, I just had a lot of fun today. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add, either of you?
Go play Magpie.
Go play my game.
Yeah, go play Stitch's game.
Aw, well, thanks. I put a lot of love into it. I've been having a lot of fun seeing people's reactions and seeing if they like it at all. And it seems like people in general have been having some fun, so that's good. Well, thanks. Anything not me related?
I'm just gonna say, happy to finally make it through the brackets. Glad we put up a good show for my first match in the brackets. And hopefully the next one is a good one too.
Yeah, I hope so as well. And honestly, you know, there are times that people make it to the bracket and they do better than they did before. There are times that people who made it before don't make it. You know, you just never really know. It's part of the excitement when you're just giving games that you've never played before. So yeah, I'm glad that you're here, Alapex. I'm glad that you're here too, Jay. I think both of you are new, and it's just, or new to the bracket, and this was a lot of fun.
I'm glad it was fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you both go. Tristan, thank you for the game and for the amazing conversations. I just really enjoyed it today.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, take care, friends. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye! Everybody, they may be leaving, but you don't have to because we have one more match for today. Yeah, pretty exciting. I just want to make sure that I have everything set up and correct, and it appears that I don't quite. So give me just a little extra time to do my final wrap-up, and we will be good to go. If you are enjoying the content that you're seeing, though, that's because I'm a content creator, blah, 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 blah. What a stupid word, content creator. Nah, I'm a streamer. I throw streamers. Yeah, that's right. You want me to toilet paper a house? I'll do it. File not found? What does that mean? Oh. No, stop it. Stop it. Windows? Windows? I'm gonna kick you. I think I know why you're grumpy. But yeah, today I've been a little super dumb. And because of that, it's been a little bit difficult for me to get everything set up, but I think I'm... Why? Why is the... Why? What? How did I mess that up? Oh, I don't need that. Okay, whatever. Whatever, I messed something up. It's fine. People are saying I'm gonna play streamers. No, I'm not gonna... I've already beaten streamers. Easy peasy, not that hard. But yeah, for everybody who has subscribed and such, thank you so much. We give out over $2,000 worth of prizes, and it's largely because of people who subscribe, who send tips through PayPal. All of that is a huge help, and honestly is what makes us able to do this. So thank you, everybody. Also, if you do happen to want to, if you want a little something back, and you want to drop money, I am offering my Magpie game both for free as well as for pay what you want over on itch, and I've just really enjoyed seeing what people think about it, so I'd love to hear your opinions as well. I'm going to be adding more levels over the next several weeks / months as well. Hopefully like 20 levels a month is what I want to aim for. So there will be more coming, not just the 20 levels that you have there. The next world I think I'm going to put together is a desert world. Maybe with coconut trees that are interactable, that drop coconuts, because those are cool. I like coconuts. They taste good. Maybe somebody said quicksand, and I'm not completely sure how I'd put quicksand in, but that could be fun. I'd love to hear people's ideas, and it's just honestly a blast to me to hear what people think.